Thanks everyone. It's really good to have an opportunity to share a bit about our experiences and our thoughts in this area. So we've spoken a lot so far about the need to take a wider angle lens at the mentioned, the need to look at the ecosystem of activities, the connections, so that we get that holistic picture of our consumers and our customers. And so we can have empathy with their world, so step into their world. And one of the ways that we believe is probably the most powerful one to do that is not only by asking questions, but to observe what they are doing. So to focus on passively observed data to get closer to the granularity of human experiences. And where we are able to do that, we then make it possible for clients like you to build and activate more precise and powerful growth strategies for your business. So how do we know that behavioural data matters? Well, our clients tell us so. This is a quote from one of our largest FMCG clients in the US from last year, where they told us in no uncertain terms that for them it is incredibly important to not only see their customer or consumer segments on a page, but they want to see them as real people, not just profiles on a page. They want to see the connections and the experiences that truly define them. And for them to do that, using behavioural data or passive observation is an absolutely non-negotiable priority. And this client also went on to say that they would purposefully want to move away from only depending on self-reported ratings and assessments to make sure that they base their insights on actual behaviour. Because for them it represents a better and more comprehensive way for measurement essentially, and therefore for strategy development. So behavioural data matters because it impacts measurement, insight, and strategy. Now when we talk about behavioural data, what is it that we really mean? Well, essentially there are a few different ways of collecting it, but what we really aim to do is to capture a complete picture of your digital footprint. So everything you do on your mobile device or your desktop. So we would be able to tell how much time you spend browsing and searching for the next destination for your upcoming holiday. Or if you take regular brain breaks to check out the latest updates on Instagram. Or we could discover that you spend an awful lot of time playing Fortnite way past midnight. Or maybe foodie videos on YouTube grab your attention. Or you go online to do some shopping. Now we would be able to tell all of that. But just imagine, given how incredibly fragmented our digital activity is, and increasingly so, across a multitude of touchpoints, how easy would it be for you to recall all of that in detail and with absolute accuracy? So we really believe that that is the granularity and the scope and the depth of behavioural data that is so powerful. But it doesn't just stop there. We also feel that to truly harness the power of behavioural data, we need to combine it with survey data. And that gets us much closer to having a comprehensive view of the complexities of modern life that we've been talking about. So to look at what people say, what they feel, what they think, but then also to look at how they behave. And that gives us the most comprehensive view. And we believe that this framework helps us to look at that in terms of the keys that the client can use to unlock deeper digital engagement and connection all across that journey that Adil spoke about. So the keys to digital engagement is about these 5 core questions. Who is the target audience that we need to reach and engage with? What are the kinds of messages that we break through to them that would leverage their triggers or overcome the barriers for them? Where would we reach them? So what are the most important touch points that we need to target as part of our engagement strategy to optimize it? And then when are the perfect moment to engage with them? When would it break through to them? When would it matter in terms of their specific life moments? And how? So how would a client resonate with their world, and how would they know to what are their needs and their interests, also beyond the category and beyond the brand? So it's really important for us to not just look at behavioural data on its own, because people are not passive consumers. They actively engage with the modern world in new and dynamic and ever-evolving ways. So it's really important to look at it holistically. So to think about it as behavior-infused insights. And this framework really gives us the perfect way to be able to do that. Now, to make this far more concrete, I wanted to take you through a case study that we recently did with the client. And just briefly walk you through each of the keys to digital engagement and how we worked through those with this client. Now, in this case, the client is called Lazada, and they are one of the biggest e-commerce retailers in Southeast Asia. So they are now owned by Alibaba, so a bit like Amazon and other parts of the world, maybe a bit like PayPal here. And our study started off by focusing on the Philippines, and we just wanted to test a new way of collecting behavioral data, a new technology. But we were so surprised by not only what we could do with the data, but also how well respondents reacted to it. So as many of you in the room might know, there are essentially two ways of getting to behavioral data. You can ask someone to install an application or meter on their device, so their mobile or their desktop, and that would then track their behavior over a specific period. Or you could ask them to complete your survey, and then we fuse that survey data with a third-party data source of behavioral data. Now, the first option is relatively easy from a person's own experience. Installing the application is pretty straightforward, very easy, but it does make you utterly aware of what you are doing on your device. So our battle is usually to get people to keep it on their device. And the second option around the data fusion approach has become increasingly difficult in the context of GDPR, because working with third-party data sources is quite complicated. So we were very excited about this technology that we were going to try, because it's very simple respondent task. At the end of a survey, we would just ask them to take one extra step. So would they be able to install a browser plugin, and that browser plugin, once they've agreed to it in the terms and conditions, almost instantly grabs up to 3 months of their search and browsing data, and then automatically uninstalls itself. So a pretty slick solution, and really user-friendly. And what we saw as a result of that, and this was really surprising, was that almost half the sample agreed to participate and complete that extra step at the end of the interview. And as a result of that, we collected over 12,000 days of active data and over 9,000 rows of search data, so individual level search data, all profiled. So we had a lot of data to work with. And the central question we really wanted to answer is, could we use this new source of data to help Lazada grow consumer centricity in a way that would unlock business growth for them? And in this case, we specifically focused on the health and beauty category. Firstly, because it's one of the top priority categories for the client, but also because we saw an opportunity there. In the Philippines, there's a sizable share of offline spend, so 43% in this specific category, which then holds potential to be converted to online spend with Lazada. So it essentially represents an untapped opportunity for growth for this client. And what is more, in the digital data, we also saw that the health and beauty related behavior dominated, representing 61% of all category-specific digital browsing sessions that we captured in the study. So that suggests that it's a category that also matters to the audience of interest to our client. So we went back to our framework and we said, let's set out to explore each of these keys to engagement and understand what it would mean for this client. So firstly, who? Well, this is a very simple view of the audience, and we wanted to target them. One of the two important areas that stand out here is that they do spend quite a lot of research, quite a lot of time doing research prior to making a purchase. So in the days and weeks leading up to a purchase, and when they make the purchase, it's typically at a department store with a wide product range. And that's quite a different profile to the online health and beauty shoppers, where they spend hardly any time doing research before buying a product, and then quickly make that decision to make an online purchase. When we focus on what, it's all about what is the kind of message that we bring through to them. So how can we leverage these triggers, or what are the barriers that we need to overcome? And by looking at the reasons why they tend to buy offline, helped us to get closer to understanding what are the barriers that are preventing them from making that online purchase. And it's essentially three things. So firstly, it is about product quality. So like most of us, they battle with making a purchase without trying and feeling and touching the product, and that's really important. So that's a big barrier to overcome. And the second one is around payment options, so feeling confident in the payment option that they would use online, and also the exchange policy, because what if you make the wrong decision? So if we take this together, it really tells us something about the need to feel very confident in the purchase you make. And that could be related to the fact that in many cases the kinds of products that you would buy in this category could be expensive. So understandably, they want to feel confident that they're making the right decision. Now, that was all based on survey data. And now we start looking at behavioural data. And that survey data really gives us a good context for interpreting all the complexity that is revealed through the behavioural data. Now, this is one way of looking at behavioural data. So we're looking at the micro moments of engagement along the path to Lazada for these offline health and beauty purchases. So this is essentially a pathing analysis, a probability model that tells us what is the most likely path to the Lazada domain that these shoppers would take. And the first thing that we would see here immediately is the absolutely dominant role of the three clients, Facebook, YouTube, and Google. So they are essentially the gateways, the ways to reach offline health and beauty shoppers. And for the client, this means that they can leverage these touchpoints, not only to drive traffic to their domain, but also to make sure that they intelligently respond to the interests and the needs of those shoppers in the moment. Now we can also look at this from the other perspective. So what happens after they leave the Lazada site? Where do they go then? Now, why would this kind of analysis matter to a client? Well, having a clear perspective of the touch points you can optimize after an engagement with Lazada really helps you to make sure that your retargeting strategies are as effective as they could be. So, for example, if we think about a Lazada user then visiting YouTube, well, one option is that they could come across a user testimonial about how easy it was to find and apply a specific product with the right shade that was perfect for them. But they could also come across a user testimonial that speaks about, that addresses one of the key needs for this group. So it speaks about how easy it was and seamless it was to exchange a product they had bought for one that was even better for them. So we know how much that matters to this group of consumers, so we can anticipate that targeting them with the right message, tailored to their needs at the right touch points, would help them to ultimately make that next purchase decision online just so much easier. Now this is another perspective on how we can use behavioural data, and we're still focusing on ways for which touch points matter. Now we already know now that the giants are predominant, Facebook, YouTube, and Google. But if we excluded them, what would we see? What other touch points would potentially matter to this audience? So let me start by explaining what we see there in the network map. We see nodes and lines. Now the nodes are essentially about how much a domain is being used. And that is based on a composite measure. So we look at the average number of sessions per day, the average duration per session, and the number of unique users. And that tells us how much a domain is being used. So the bigger the node, the more it's being used. The connections tell us something about how often different domains are being used together in the same browsing session. So the thicker the line, the more often they are used together. Now, that essentially tells us something about our established digital patterns, our digital habits. And habits are important. So in neuroscience, it is held that neurons fire together, wire together. So that's a very short and simplified way of saying that actions that happen repeatedly over time at the same time tend to become hard-coded together. So if two domains tend to be used together repeatedly over time, there's a spark, and every spark essentially builds a stronger bridge between the two. that reveals our habits. Now for the client, this is incredibly important because what it reveals here is that we can see that these shoppers are offline health and beauty shoppers, visit Lazada, but they also already use PayPal. Now what do we know about PayPal? It's a payment option. And we know that these shoppers are concerned about payment options. So one option for Lazada is to make sure that they display PayPal very prominently on their website, to make sure it's a payment option that they recognize and they're already familiar with and trust enough to use. And they could also then make sure that that's incorporated into their overall content strategy. So the next time these health and beauty shoppers go onto the Lazada site, it would just be so much easier and they will have confidence to make a purchase decision because they trust the payment option. Now this is the same kind of view, but here we focus on the retail ecosystem. So we want to see what kinds of touchpoints are used together when the consumer is more in a shopping kind of mindset. And here what stands out very prominently is that Lazada is often used with Shopee, and Shopee is their biggest competitor. Well, this kind of makes sense because we know that these shoppers tend to do a lot of research in the days and weeks leading up to their purchase. So it's natural that they would be active across the retail ecosystem. And we know that they also make up to, I think it was 2.6 on average, purchases in this category per month. So overall, this suggests for the client that there's a significant opportunity to build engagement with these shoppers in the moments when they are doing research. So catch them when they are doing research and respond to their needs. So make sure that we are able to address their concerns around payment options or exchange policies or profitability. So we've already spoken a little bit about the payment options and the exchange policy, but one way Lazada could think creatively about addressing product quality is to think about, for instance, a free sample strategy or something like a tailored and personalized subscription service, which entirely removes the need to make the decisions and makes it much easier for them to be able to use Lazada with confidence. And now we move on to when. So we have our who, our what, and our where. Now when should we target them? When is the best time to engage with them so we get the most out of those specific opportunities? Now, what we are looking at here is what we call Sunburst charts. And essentially, they tell us about the digital behavior patterns across the top domains. So the top domains overall and the top 5 retail domains. And we can look at this in terms of either frequency or duration. So how often people use it or how long they spend on a domain. And here we looked at, in this example, specifically in terms of duration, because we wanted to see if we could tell something about the type of content that would work best. So what we saw here for the top 5 domains is that an optimized strategy we would recommend would target longer form content to Facebook and YouTube, specifically on a Saturday and a Sunday and in the afternoon. When it comes to the retail context, we would say that the most important focus for Lazada is to target this audience when they tend to spend a little longer on the shopping site. But then it's up to Lazada to more aggressively target them in those moments to lure back their attention and make sure that they do that with the right content, typically in the evenings and afternoons, and especially on a Sunday. So you can see the kind of granularity that you can offer through the behavioural data. And then lastly, you talk about how. So how can a client, Lazada, resonate more deeply and connect with their world? And how would they be able to get to those kinds of interests? And here we leverage the search data. Now, search data is really where we can tell what are the most pressing questions that people want to have answers to right now. And if you think about it, that really gives us a unique view into their interests, their intent, and their needs. Things that they might not tell us in a survey necessarily. So what did their search behavior reveal about this specific audience? Well, we didn't see any specific brand interest emerge organically. In the 24,500 searches that we had for them, we could see that Shopee featured very prominently when they were doing retail searches. So another reason for Lazada to make sure they lure back attention away from shopping. And when we looked at products, it's very interesting that the product information that they were after focused on more foundational skincare products, so soap and shampoo and lotions. And then the adjacent interests are very interesting. So this really speaks to understanding your audience far beyond the category itself. So what are the other things that matter to them in their lives? Now, one of the themes that we saw here was anime. And when we took a closer look there, we saw it was all about anime love stories and anime romance comedies that mattered to them. We also saw music. And music made sense because our Catholic collection wrapped up just before the December holidays. And so music interest was all around Christmas carols and Christmas music. And we saw costume, dresses and shoes coming up quite a lot. Now, interestingly, when we took a closer look at that, it turned out that was almost all related to Halloween. And because our data is historical, it captured Halloween that was just at the end of October. And we saw many research revealing an interest in finding just the right costume and just the right accessories. And that really ranged from anything all the way from Tinkerbell to Game of Thrones. So it told us a lot more about this audience at an individual level, in a profile way, than what they would ever tell us in a survey. So if we come back to our framework, do we think it allows us to help our clients to develop more precise activation and growth strategies? Now, remember our focus was, can we help Lazada to unlock this potential growth opportunity by leveraging these keys to digital engagement? Firstly, when we look at how, we know who to target. These are the people who spend a lot of time doing their research. So it's really the important task for Lazada is to make that decision as easy as possible for them. And that could be then the right target to test out a subscription service, which removes the need to make that decision altogether and delivers ultra convenience and is personalized. In terms of what, we know that product quality is incredibly important for them. So perhaps a free sample strategy, but at the same time, Lazada's communication should still address the need to make sure that they understand PayPal is a trusted payment option for them, and that the exchange policies are as simple and clear as possible. In terms of where, we can help the client to specifically target the giants as the gateways to reach this, but also to tap into the digital habits that we identify to optimize and amplify the engagement strategy by focusing on Yahoo, Twitter, and PayPal. And in terms of when, we saw that longer form content like user testimonials or reviews which will gain build confidence could be really powerful here and should be targeted over the weekend and the afternoon, and that Lazada really needs to aggressively target these shoppers, especially in the evenings and afternoons and on Sunday, to make sure they lure their attention away from shopping, not only at the moment but also in the future, to make sure that they bring that spend or share spend to Lazada. And lastly, when it comes to how, well, if we think about the specific product interest, any product content that the client produces should be aligned with their interests. In other words, if they think about promotions, it should be related to more foundational skincare products. And they can leverage what we now know about their adjacent interests to make sure that they far more deeply connect and resonate with their world by building associations, for instance, with popular anime icons, or that they more proactively anticipate big seasonal trends like Halloween or the Christmas holidays. So if we look at this and we take a step back, it really, for us, represents a firm step towards an activation plan with the client, that we can work with them to build out further and turn it into activation. And we can really view that, as you can imagine, for a host of different audiences and segments. So it really reveals how, when we bring survey data and behavioural data together, we can truly harness the power of both data sets together to give us the most comprehensive insight into a person's world, into the complexities of modern life, into the ways in which they engage, to understand their full ecosystem, which would give the client not only the ability to more deeply resonate and connect with them, but also to build far more well-informed activation and growth strategies for their business. So I hope this has been insightful and gives you an idea about how we can leverage alternative data sources to add additional insight. Thank you.